Hello, my name is Carl Miller, and I am a graduate student at Wisconsin Lutheran College. Today I'm going to be talking about the WMAS Common Core quiz, and I'm going to go through each question and answer them to the best of my ability. I hope you do enjoy yourself. Maybe you might even learn something. So the first question on the quiz is that I need to define academic standards as described by the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction. So academic standards are what students should know and be able to do, what he or she might be asked to do, and give evidence of standards and how they must perform. So, the second question is, why are academic standards necessary? Academic standards are necessary because standards set goals for teaching and learning. Also, academic standards allow children to have equal access to education. It is quite possible if there were not academic standards that students in high poverty areas would not get the same equal education. Also, if there were no standards, it is possible that each school district in the state would have different standards, and each student in the school districts would learn something completely different. So when they got out of high school and went into the workforce or college, they would have different information, which might not be what society is looking for, which is a huge problem. So, question 3. List Wisconsin's 6 guiding principles for teaching and learning and briefly explain each. So before I explain each of them, I'm just going to tell you what they are, and then I'll go into greater detail. Alright? So number 1 is every student has the right to learn. Number 2 is instructions must be rigorous and relevant. 3. Purposeful assessment drives instruction and affects learning. 4. Learning is a collaborative responsibility. 5. Students bring strengths and experiences to learning. 6. Responsive environments engage learners. Alright, so those are the 6. So let us go into the meat and potatoes of each principle. So the first principle again is every student has the right to learn. Students, regardless of station in life, are allowed the human right of education that helps them become a better thinker and better citizen. Like I said during question 2, that if we didn't have some sort of principle or standards, that it would be possible that students in a low poverty area would just not get the right education, and that is not fair. They deserve an equal education just like anybody else. Second principle, instruction must be rigorous and relevant. In Wisconsin, the state believes there are core ideas that must be taught in every subject, and this information must be relevant to how a student learns. So, for example, in a math class, you have to go through main ideas and concepts that helps the student learn, that will help them that will benefit them in the long run in college and in the workforce. If we didn't have this principle, it's possible that teachers would just teach random ideas, and that certain ideas would not be used at all in the workforce or later, so that's why we have this principle. So 3, purposeful assessment drives instruction and affects learning. So the point is that teachers must test students in some way, shape, or form to see how students are doing. The state believes there are many different ways a teacher can assess his or her students. The reason why this principle is important is because obviously we need to, as educators, know how our students are doing. So what we do is we test them through summatives, formatives, other forms of assessment to see how our students are doing. And if students are doing well, then that's fantastic. But if they are not, then we have to find some other way to fix the problem. That is important because if we didn't do testing, it is possible that students would just not be doing well and we wouldn't know what to do. So number 4, learning is a collaborative responsibilities. So when teachers, students, and community members work together to help each other, academic learning does take place. So in society, it takes work from teachers, students, and the community for education to take place. So working together all the time does benefit each other because teachers and the community help students learn, and then in turn students will help the community and the teachers in society by helping make society better. Alright, number 6. I'm on number 5. Students bring strengths and experiences to learning. So each student has their own individual ways of learning, and teachers need to remember that teaching to the same way to everybody is not going to work, so that is why that principle is important. And number 6 is responsive environments engage learners. So basically, school classrooms need to have a welcoming environment in general that can promote learning. I would like to talk about, the needs theory. If a student comes into a school and does not feel safe, they will not be able to conceptualize the information. So what they need to do is feel comfortable. So teachers and administrators and people in school districts in general need to make schools seem more welcoming so students will be able to conceptualize and learn something. So for question number 4, I need to select a WMAS Common Core addressing a skill and reflective of my licensure area, which is history and English. State the standard completely, then from the standard draft learning goals appropriate from a unit of study. Finally, draft a learner objective appropriate for a given day's lesson within that unit of study. So for the first part, I chose for the WMAS Common Core Standard, I picked B.12.3, which is recall, select, and analyze significant historical periods and the relationships among them. The unit goal that I plan on doing would be during a unit during the Protestant Reformation and the Counter-Reformation. So the goal of the unit shall be students shall be able to write about how the Protestant Reformation led to the Counter-Reformation. All right. The learning objectives would be students will be able to write a paper that answers how the Protestant Reformation led to the Counter-Reformation. Students will be able to write papers that have the right unit vocabulary in it and that are also grammatically correct in normal paragraph structure. Okay, moving on to number 6. So the question for number 6 is, explain Wisconsin's approach to disciplinary literacy. Disciplinary literacy is the combination of content, knowledge, experiences, skills, as well as reading, writing, listening, speaking, and thinking critically in certain academic disciplines. The state says that disciplinary literacy must begin at a young age and continue through secondary education and college. That is obviously very important because students need to know ideas and concepts in a certain discipline to be able to do well in college and in the workforce. Right? So number 7, what is the link between Wisconsin state standards and testing such as the ACT line test? The ACT line test is a test that shall replace the WKCE testing. The WKCE testing was the state standard for many, many years. I took the WKCE testing in 8th grade and in 10th grade to see how we were doing, but now that is being replaced by the ACT test. Wisconsin state standards are connected to the ACT line test because state standards help teachers teach ideas and concepts that will be used on the ACT line test and better prepare students for college and other forms of higher education. Also, the tests help show what students are learning in classrooms and stuff, and is more connected than what the WKCE testing was. Alright, so those are all the 7 questions that I have answered. If you have any questions, just leave a comment below. I got all these answers from the Wisconsin Public, from the state of Wisconsin. I will leave the link in the description of this video below if you do have any questions. And this is my Works Cited page, just so everybody knows exactly where I got the information. I didn't steal the ideas or anything like that. I did get it from the state of Wisconsin. So thank you for watching and have a good day.